Hey guys, all right, we're going to add to our notebook. We are going to do page 55 and 56, although really in this video we're just going to do 55. And if you are in class taking notes with me, then you already have these done. So this is actually page 55, and we were talking about point slope form. Alrighty, so we turn to that page, point slope form. This is the one that we did in class. So again, if you already took those notes with me, you can exit out of this video. So point slope form is our big boy equation. It has more involved than direct variation. So if we open this one up, our point slope form equation looks like so. And when we are filling everything in to write the equation, we need to fill in m with slope. And we can think of slope one of two ways. If I'm on the graph, I'm thinking of it as rise over run. But if I'm not on a graph, then I'm probably going to do the slope formula, which slope formula is y minus y over x minus x. And we do that when they give us 2 points, which is more often the case. Okay. Now the other thing that we need to fill in point slope form is a point. The thing is, direct variation always goes through 0, 0. So I don't need to worry about that point. Point slope form might go through a different point or go through lots of different points. It might not go through 0, 0. So instead, I have to fill in this x1, y1 with a point that they give me that's on the line. Okay, so any point that's on the line, we can fill in the x1 and y1. Remember, x is with x and y is with y. And so quick little example is if they tell me the slope is -0.5, and they tell me that a point on the line is 2, -3, we want to write our point slope form as y minus y1 equals m parenthesis x minus x1. And in place of the y1, we'll put our y value. So we'll have y minus -3, but a negative next to a subtraction sign is going to be a plus. And then m is my slope, so -0.5, parenthesis x minus 2. Now we talked about how it kind of feels like that's not done. Like it almost feels like I need to do more, like distribute and maybe move that 3. But we don't need to worry about that yet. Eventually we'll get to that. Okay, so the two big things that we want to think about whenever we're writing a linear equation is how do I write the equation and then how do I graph it? Okay, so we kind of talked about writing the equation right here, but let's try 2 more examples. So best case scenario for point slope form is they tell you the slope and they give you a point. So let's say they tell you the slope is 3 and a point on the line is -1, 0. If they tell you exactly that, then you have exactly what you need to fill in all the letters that you need. You always have to have an x and a y left behind. So we write our point slope form equation, y minus y1 equals m parenthesis x minus x1. And in place of the y1, we're going to put our y value, which is 0. In place of m, we'll put our slope, which is 3. And then in place of x1, we'll put our x value, which is -1. So it's going to be double negative for a plus. Now again, it kind of feels like I'm not done, like maybe I should distribute or do something over here. And that I feel like I should do, like y minus 0 or just 0, like doesn't need to be there. So I am going to get rid of that -0 and finish it like that. and just not worry about distributing yet. We'll get to that. Now, if they're less nice to you, they won't tell you the slope. They're just going to give you 2 points. So let's say, for instance, they give me the point 1, 5 and 2, 1. That's not great because in point slope form, I need to have a point, which I have an abundance of, but I also need to have slope, and they didn't tell me that. Now, I could go plot these 2 points on a graph and count the slope like rise, run, but that feels like a lot of work. So instead, when they give me 2 points, I can find slope by doing y minus y over x minus x. So when I do y minus y, I could do 5 minus 1 or 1 minus 5. I feel like 5 minus 1 feels better to me. But since I'm going in that order, I need to do the same for x. So I'll have to do 1 minus 2. So 5 minus 1 is 4. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So when I reduce or simplify here, I get that my slope is negative 4. Okay, so when I want to write my equation in point slope form, I got to have slope and a point. Okay, so we got y minus y1 equals m, parenthesis x minus x1. And because you have 2 points, you have a choice. You can either pick 1, 5 or 2, 1. It's up to you. Now, I might choose something that's not negative or is smaller numbers, but nothing's negative here, and I guess I'll go with 2, 1 because it's smaller. And so I write y minus the y value, which is 1, equals the slope, which is negative 4, parenthesis x minus the x value, so 2. Or I could write it as y minus 5, this point over here, equals negative 4, parenthesis x minus 1, and either answer would be correct. Again, it kind of feels undone, but that's okay. We don't need to worry about that yet. Okay, so the last thing that we need to be good at is we need to be good at writing the equation. We also need to be good at graphing it, so hopefully we feel good about writing an equation. When I graph it, I almost have to think about everything backwards. So they give me the equation, and what does that tell me about what my graph should look like? So there's 2 steps in graphing. I first need to start at a point. And second, I need to do my slope, because slope really is like a direction. If I'm thinking about slope on a graph, it's telling me how much to rise and how much to run. So it's telling you how to move. But where I move from, I need to do that first. So that's why I need to find my point first. So our point is x, y. And if you remember, x is with x and y is with y. So my x value is over here with x, but because of the subtraction sign that's in the form, I actually have to make it opposite. So it's not going to be positive 7, it's going to be negative 7. The y value is with y over here, and again, I have to make it opposite because of the subtraction sign that's in there. So it won't be negative 3, it'll be positive 3. And then my slope is the number in front of parentheses, so half. And so I always first get my starting point. So my starting point is going to be at negative 7, 3. And then my slope gives me a direction. This is telling me rise 1, run forward 2. So from here, I got to go up 1 and then forward 2. And I can do it a bunch of times, up 1, forward 2, up 1, forward 2. That just gives me a lot of good points to connect and make a really nice straight line. Okay, so last one to try. This one is a little bit sneaky because, so again, want to find my point, want to get that slope. The reason I find this one tricky is because normally I'm looking for those parentheses and then the number in front is slope, but there isn't parentheses here. So like, why wouldn't they need parentheses? And like, what does that have to mean slope is? So if there are not parentheses, that meant that slope was 1. because a 1 in front of parentheses kind of means I don't need them. Like 1 times anything is just that thing. So here my slope was 1. My x comma y point. So x is with x, but opposite. So 3. And y is over here with y, but opposite. So -2. Okay, so I always have to start at my starting point, which in this case is 3, -2. And then slope tells me how to get to another point. So I can go up 1, forward 1, up 1, forward 1. Or I could go down 1, backwards 1. Because those are both negative things, and a negative divided by a negative is still positive. Kind of fun. And we get a nice straight line. And there you go. Point slope form.